This is a long-term review of the Crud Roadracer MK3 Mudguards. So I've been using these over the last couple of months, and before that I was using the MK2 Mudguard, so I can give a good comparison between the two. So starting with the front guard, you can see the clearance is pretty good, and they can take a wheel up to 38C, I think, from the instructions, so clearance all around. So they're supported by these two support bars, and they're much more rigid than the previous versions of the mudguards. And they're secured by this super strong Velcro. And the guard curves down nicely, and you can see it's got a tapered or flared end, so it quite effectively stops the spray. The guard itself is quite flexible at the front because it's not really supported, but I haven't really found that a problem, and it does stay away from the wheel because of the distance. The clearance is so good, and it's much more rigid than the previous version, although there still is some wobble. And again, there's the flare out towards the end, which is much thicker than the MK2. It doesn't look quite as aerodynamic, but it is more effective, so whatever choice, whichever you prefer, really. There's just another angle there. I quite like the look of this. It's a bit more aggressive, but it's also a bit more obvious than the MK2. They're still incredibly lightweight, weighing only 260 odd grams or so. So the back guard has these two plastic supports again, flares out to protect the chain set, stop water getting on it, and it again secured by this really strong Velcro. It's really tough, but if you've got a really thin frame, it will protrude. I suppose you could trim it down, but for sticklers amongst you, it might be aesthetically unpleasing. But in my opinion, this is a very minor point. Now, the rear guard at the back doesn't come down as far as the previous version, so anyone close to you might get sprayed, but it's good at protecting yourself. You won't get that wet streak up your back. And again, there's some flex in it, but they're so light it's not really been a problem at all, even when you're going fast. So the mudguard just slides down between the brakes. It can fit those with cantilever or lever brakes or disc brakes, and it quite nicely molds around these. It's pretty cool. It looks really cool. And this angle just shows you again some of the space, so it's quite generous, the spacing here. I'm running a set of 24 mil tires here, and what I really like is this splayed out end that really protects your chain from the wet and the gunk that's thrown up by the wheels in wet weather. So it's really effective and helps the chain last longer, and stops the chips on your frame. It keeps your frame looking nicer for longer. So I'm actually quite a big fan of these mudguards. They're more robust than the previous versions. They keep you dry in wet weather. They're less likely to break, and they look pretty good. They look pretty aggressive. They have mixed reviews on some websites saying that they're fiddly to attach, but my opinion, for what it's worth, is that if you spend a bit of time to send them up correctly, not longer than half an hour, then they're excellent. Would I buy these again? Definitely. And if I was going to give them a grade, I'd grade them A+. Thanks for watching. Next Bikenomic video coming soon.